What's good, everyone? Thank you for joining us and welcome to the Web3 experience. Every week, we meet with the most innovative minds across culture, business, and technology to discuss how Web3 is unlocking a new era of opportunity for entrepreneurs, businesses, and creators alike.
By speaking with the builders of tomorrow and hearing their unique perspectives on Web3 and the world at large, we aim to break down the many existing societal frameworks that blockchains aim to disrupt.
I'm your host, Mosey.
And I'm Freelance.
And welcome to the show. So just to give a little background about myself, I'm Mosey, a former athlete turned Web3 collector, consultant, educator, and entrepreneur. Ever since I was a little kid, I've been passionate about technology, culture, and creative opportunity. In middle school, my family threw me in athletics, but also pushed me towards hobbies that really invoked my sense of creativity, such as painting, gaming, music, and more. Throughout my journey in life, each of these passions have always been present and stuck with me, but I've never found a medium that allowed me to express them all at once. And that is until I was introduced to blockchain technology in the fall of 2020.
Well, what were you doing in fall of 2020 anyways that brought you in, or what were you doing when you first learned about Web3?
Yeah, so ironically, in this phase of my life, I was pursuing a totally different career in law, and I was wrapping up a clerkship at a major firm in downtown Miami. Prepping for the LSAT coupled with the start of the COVID pandemic. This time of my life was pretty uncertain for sure. But after doing extensive research on Web3 and the culture at large, I quickly understood the necessity for a global currency and a publicly distributed ledger, a financial ledger that everybody can see, operate, and audit whenever they want. So I abandoned my pursuit of a law degree and jumped headfirst into Web3 at that time. But it wasn't until the summer of 2021 that the Mosey persona was officially created. It was a digital alter ego that allowed me to connect and interact with many like-minded individuals in the space, as well as, an ego that allowed me to constantly learn and more about this exciting new wave of innovation by jumping out there in social media and really participating in the culture. So.
Cool. So, summer 2021, as someone who's been in this space now for 6-7 years, that tells me that NFTs were really your entry into Web3. What was that summer like once you started getting into them?
So during this time, NFT trading was consuming much of my time, as there were hundreds of new projects coming out, many of which I participated in, lost or won, we'll get into that later in the show. But every new minting experience allowed me to learn more about, what it takes to build a community and foster a community and create a unique product that could potentially grow with this emerging culture. So after the market quickly became saturated by the year's end, I made a concerted effort to really zoom out and process what a small percentage of the population truly understand the necessity for blockchain and Web3 tech. So this period of degeneracy and constantly being misunderstood by friends, family, and peers really enabled me to develop a deep desire for thoughtfully educating others on the true benefits at hand, because this technology really speaks home to me, and I'll harp on that soon.
What is it about the technology or the culture that's resonated so much with you?
So, as a first-generation immigrant from Lebanon, my family has seen the tragic effects of political and financial corruption and the hopeless repercussions of trusting in a fiat currency.
Hyperinflation the other year.
Yeah, since 1997, the official exchange rate of the Lebanese lira has been pegged at 1,500 liras to $1. In the past 4 years, the national currency has lost more than 90% of its overall value, with the parallel market rate hovering around 40,000 liras to $1. So if you trusted in the government of Lebanon and trusted your money with the banks of Lebanon, you have none. Basically, you lost 95% of your net worth overnight. And I had uncles and family members who had $1 million in the bank, woke up and they had $1,000. It's just like that. Crazy.
That's rough.
So the reality is this: the majority of global citizens are completely absent of opportunity and woefully ignorant to how the financial world operates. Due to rampant exploitation of media outlets, constant manipulation of financial systems, and endless corruption on behalf of politicians, our society really has never been more divided and at risk. Governments have shown us that they will stop at nothing to preserve the massive wealth imbalances that are present worldwide and continue stripping away our financial, societal, and personal freedoms at every turn. So decentralized tools are now allowing us to trust in mathematical frameworks that are completely free of corruption, censorship, and human error. Enter decentralization, exit centralization.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mo. I mean, what a story about your history, your family's history, like the way it's impacted some of the, even members of your family. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, for sure. So Lance, let's learn more about you. Can you explain your journey for our viewers?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Lance, aka Freelance. I'm a crypto and cannabis veteran. To be honest, crypto cannabis veteran. I wear a lot of hats. I own the music studio that we're in right now. I do photography. I manage an artist. I also help with portfolio management, advising a few people on giving them analyses of different projects and things like that. And I'm also a consultant and advisor for different NFT projects and some brands looking to break into the Web3 space.
Awesome. I mean, that's a really eclectic mix. So how did you end up in Web3? What brought you here?
It's a long story, but the short format, since an early age, I've been interested in like growth and technology and innovation. I was in web development classes in middle school and started getting into like fixing and jailbreaking phones from there. We set up Halo on the county servers for the school board. So we'd be playing, games in class. The teachers had no idea, stuff like that. So I was always into tech. And then as I got older, especially I would say maybe as a result of 2008 and everything that happened financially, but my family got hit hard through that. We didn't wind up, being able to keep our house and things like that. And I started learning more about the financial system and the way the world works politically, from a wealth perspective, all these kind of things that made me realize like, oh man, it's really, it's not easy for the everyday man who doesn't have all the knowledge out there. And so at University of Florida, I wound up getting involved with some investment groups as well, always keeping an eye into technology. And eventually, the two kind of came together. I was graduated at this point, but I was couch surfing in San Diego. My buddy who dropped out of law school had a full ride scholarship. I thought he was fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. And he tells me about this Bitcoin. He's interning for a Bitcoin wallet, and he's interning. He's doing it for free. He just left a full ride. That's $100,000 over 2-3 years or whatever, plus over 6 figures. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dude, you're not even getting paid to do this. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's I didn't even have a real answer. It wasn't like a defined role, but it was just like a utility guy
aha moment
with this company. Yeah. And as I'm sitting on his couch and he's explaining shit, he's also printing. He's got like a desk printer, a textbook, like this fucking thick stack of papers about smart contracts and Ethereum and Bitcoin obviously was his first jump off point, but he got me into the industry and I took it from there. Over the next year or two, through that January 2018 like blow off top, I learned so much and really came to a point of understanding from my perspective how innovative and groundbreaking how much this technology could change and have effects across many different industries, and ultimately improve the way that we as human beings live.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, how many industries? I think between the both of us, we both assume that blockchain will probably be integrated in pretty much every industry. Right?
Yeah, across
everything that wants
verticals.
Verified authenticity of something, or data that all consumers or stakeholders could get a part of and see. That's where we see the world evolving to. So after the Bored Ape Yacht Club, after that big whirlwind, so how did that evolve? So what happened after?
So yeah, I mean, for me, it goes back even after everything blew up in 2018 and fell apart. I really dove head first. I like I said, I came to that realization of how the orders of magnitude that this technology could change the world. And I decided I was just going to learn about it nonstop, especially while the market was down. And that's what I did for 2-3 years. DeFi summer, I was yields farming and harvesting my crops, as they say. And was super into, infrastructure plays and data, oracles, all this kind of stuff. And at that point is when NFTs started taking off. I was a bit late to the game because I was a little snooty. I was like, this is like data that's going to power the entire Web3 world, like, and everything that's coming this way, versus these are cartoon skulls. Like, what the fuck? Like, what do you...
Wicked craniums.
What? That was the first one, bro. My boy brought me wicked craniums, and I was like, what? What is this? I don't want to spend my Ethereum on this. And then he brought me Zed's Run. Same thing. I was like, all right, horse race is cool, but it's not my bag. And then the last one he brought me was literally Bored Ape. So it's, I'm a big believer. I played baseball too, so third strike, right, and you're out. I was like, don't let this one be a strike, you know. Don't just let it pass you by. So I got into the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and as soon as I got into the Discord, I realized I didn't have to be like this lone wolf figuring out crypto on my own. I realized the strength of that community in particular, and that then began the next whirlwind of 2021 of going to all these NFT conferences and Ape Fest and Bitcoin 22, rocking NFT merch and get Art Basel, dealing with all the art fans of the world coming in and being shocked and confused, like, what is this? There's all these NFT events. What does this even mean? And then even just dealing with the people in your personal circle, right? Your friends, the people you went to high school with, the people you went to university with. And I came to this point, I think you did as well, Mosey, where you realize, like, wow, there's a serious lack of, like, A, formal education, but B, just general knowledge, where if people are lacking that I don't want to say expertise, because it's tough to get to that level in an evolving industry, but that general baseline, they feel like they're either getting taken advantage of, or they feel like there's so many scams that they're too nervous or afraid to even get involved with the industry. They hear things on social media that it's all a scam, or it's bad for this, bad for, like, and it's money laundering. And so we, came to this point where I realized, like, wow, a lot of people need to learn, really from the beginning and foundation, building up, like, why is this technology important? Where will it benefit me in life, or the people I care about, or the things I care about? All these kind of questions that from the outside looking in, these people are like, well, that's great, but I don't know anything about it, so I'm missing out, right?
And then they become a little defensive because, traditional schooling, like going to college and being a part of society, going to school, getting your degree, and then jumping into a 9-to-5, it's kind of how society's framed, right? So obviously the frameworks that blockchain is aiming to disrupt, the system that built them is not going to teach you how to disrupt it, Like, obviously we're going to have to be the lone wolf educators going out there and being the change that we want to see, because traditional schooling and traditional systems are not teaching. They're teaching people, and through the media, through the ownership of media by these traditional entities, they control what they see. They want NFTs are a scam. NFTs, have no utility. So, like, the common person you run into, already has that bad taste in their mouth. And there's people in the community now who don't even like the term NFT because it's been so worn down and beaten dry by the media with all these derogatory marks. So, like, let's find a new word, some people are saying. But I mean, at the essence of it, non-fungible technology means non-fungible technology means you can't copy it. So, like, that's all it is a verifiable authenticity.
That's a way to look at it. In 2020, I actually started Digital Assets Research Group, and I was working with large, high net worth investors, helping them understand the technology and these different assets, right? So I still, even though I started that before the NFT craze, I see NFTs as under that umbrella. So if we wanted to look for a term that can encompass that and maybe stay away from just NFTs, digital assets, digital collectibles.
That's what NFL, that's what all these, there's a lot of organizations, major organizations, NFL, NHL, NBA, all adopting NFTs, but they're not saying NFT. They're saying digital asset. They're saying digital collectible.
Yeah,
because
Top
they
Shot
know
collectible, your NFL.
Exactly,
NFL
it's all digital assets. Yeah. They're not mentioning NFT because they know instantly. So many people have been, fed this notion by the media that NFTs are bad. They don't know the difference between digital asset and NFT. So, like, we can get away with it. You know, summing it all up, like, what brought us together? What are we doing here?
So, I mean, you and I, we actually met. You're wearing merch. I'm wearing merch through the Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? And we realized we lived near each other. I think we met on Twitter. Yeah. And wound up getting together and
through the DAO. We met through the DAO.
Well, yeah, we started
Twitter,
the magic,
through the
but that all started like through Twitter. Everyone getting together in a group, and then everyone wrangling the South Florida people together, having a dinner together, and building that group chat out.
Explain to them the inception of the Magic City Ape DAO, because that's what brought us together, right?
Right. So, when was this? August of last year? Sometime last year, end of the summer, and yeah, I got a message one day. My buddy was moving to Denver, but he's like, "Oh man, there's this Bored Ape dinner in Miami tomorrow night. I'm not able to go because I'm moving, but let me plug you in." And so he put me into this Twitter chat, and I get in there, 70 other people, and I'm scrolling the chat, and it's like founder of XYZ protocol, owner of XYZ company, fund manager at XYZ hedge fund, and I'm like, holy crud, like, man, this really is like a network of builders and people that are out here doing it, right? And so we had that intro dinner at Komodo the first night, and everyone kind of coalesced after that, and the more that we started to get to know each other and realizing everyone has their own kind of strengths and expertise, we decided we can start an organization in South Florida representing Bored Apes as a collection, but as individuals, and all give our own kind of experience to create this DAO, where now we've hosted, we call them Beer and Learn. So we've had these networking / educational events. You've actually hosted a few of them. We learned about generative art. We learned about AI art. We've learned about dynamic NFTs. Beyond that, we've had a few social meetups as well, just kind of networking and meeting up, as well as like parties. We hosted a party during Bitcoin 22. We hosted a party during Art Basel last year. And then lastly, community involvement, right? We did the beach cleanup. We've got another one scheduled. We did one in Miami South Beach. We're doing another one in Fort Lauderdale. I know we've got plans around Thanksgiving for some more giving back in the community locally. So yeah, I mean, just what a wonderful way to show the power of Web3, bringing a community together, even on a local scale, even though it's out of a larger Web3 community, and being able to affect change.
Yeah. And I think honestly the beauty of it too, and NFTs is like, when we all started meeting each other on Twitter through the DAO, we're all so different. That's why when there's the racism rumors and everything going around, it's like, if you actually got into the community and saw how diverse everything is, we have a man who's in his late 50s, like, who's just as passionate about this stuff as we are, if not more. He's way more passionate. Like, and shout out Claude.
Shout out the Sappy Seals.
So I mean, it's crazy how far the DAO has progressed. Now we've got a collective amount of funds that we're using for philanthropic events. Just tying into like just recent. We're filming this as of the 13th of October. Just yesterday, the Bored Ape Yacht Club just donated $1 million to with the mayor of Miami to a foundation. So they're going to be a huge component of the South Florida area. So it's only fitting that with the Magic City Ape DAO in mind, and like all of these different endeavors that we're doing down here, that we put them all together. Like have an educational workshop that pushes more knowledge out there, right? Especially in the South Florida community, because this is our home. We want this place and the people around it to understand and prosper. So that's why we're creating this.
So, I mean, obviously you and I found synergy, and, like you said, it made sense to collaborate and start getting a focus on education and sharing some of these insights. So we'll be interviewing different people, from that DAO, and also just that we've met at different networking events, different conferences, whatever. And we're all doing it here, Living the Dream Studios in South Florida. It's freaking amazing, right? All right, so yeah, obviously there was a lot of synergy between you and I, and a lot of great experience. I've been consulting with a few brands and advising on some NFT projects. I wanted to ask you, you started what, a consulting group, and then also another project, right? So let me hear about that.
So a few months ago I started NFT CG, NFT Consultants Group, which is basically a consulting agency that bridges, brands and businesses with artists and creators and creative culture, but also bridging, the creative culture with financial opportunities using these new era technologies and leveraging the blockchain to unlock new revenue streams for for people who don't know about it. Like artists, creators, videographers, photographers, many of them don't know about the transition from IRL to digital, and having, what you create using your hands and your skills, you can monetize them on a global scale. If not monetize them, just get your word out there and build a community of people who value your skills and value your works. So that's why I created NFTCG. And after consulting many people and listening to many different perspectives, I realized that there has to be a huge emphasis on education. So that's why I created the Web3 experience, and that's why we're all here today, to really push forward this education. And, in the future, I see the Web3 experience being a full course curriculum that teaches people about Web3 and the different sectors of it. And the Otter Oasis is an NFT collection that I'm creating right now. This is a little early alpha that is going to be a very inclusive and organic growing collection where I envision the Web3 experience traveling the world, educating people from parts of the world that don't have the opportunities that we have down here, helping them understand that there are ways to find new revenue streams for themselves if they just had the education, the opportunity, and obviously maybe we help give back and give them some sort of opportunities in some way. So so that's where we see this going.
Cool. So but thank you for finding a desire to want to share all that information with other people that don't have it. But
likewise.
But B, I'm really excited. I think between the people you've met through NFTCG, your clients on that end of things, the people we're meeting at these conferences and networking events, the people in the Magic City Apes DAO that we were talking about, in our own circles, and between all of that, I think this podcast is going to be really exciting. We're going to have some great interviews, some great insights into the minds of these people that are building this technology and building this future that we're already seeing. And, I think we're going to be able to share a lot of that information and insight.
Definitely. I'm excited. I'm really excited. We have a long list of connections that we have amassed over, 6 years of being in the industry, 6 years and 2 years of being in the industry. Ton of connections ranging from Europe for virtual sessions that we'll be doing, to a lot of people in the South Florida area that carry a lot of weight and knowledge. So we're definitely going to have a very diverse group of guests, high-level guests coming in and picking their brains, honestly. Even if we bring in Web2 companies and CEOs of companies that want to debate and learn more about the project, we're more than willing to, open our perspectives and offer them a new one,
Definitely.
So
if you guys like the sound of this, subscribe to the podcast, give us a follow. We're on Twitter at W3 Experience, and let us know what kind of topics you want to hear about, and things that maybe if you have questions that you would want to hear from a company or project founder, things like that. And thanks so much. We'll see you guys next episode.
Thank you, guys.